Hello, my name is Austin Thrash, and today I will be presenting my market segmentation on the Nintendo Wii for DA6823. So why the Nintendo Wii? I chose the Nintendo Wii because I am a consumer who actually purchased the Nintendo Wii back in 2008, or should I say my parents did. But I have a feeling that I may be able to describe the overall customer base for the Nintendo Wii and who might purchase one. So let's get into our business problem. Let's say we're hired by Nintendo to help the advertisement campaign for their latest system, the Nintendo Wii. Our goal is to identify and characterize individuals engaged in owning or playing the Nintendo Wii to help tailor Nintendo's marketing efforts towards potential Wii purchasers. So first we'll look at the data set. We're using the NCS dataset. It's a survey that includes over 25,000 respondents. It has over 65,000 questions pertaining to different topics such as media, food and drink, entertainment and shopping, and much, much more. The questions can be attitudinal or binary, yes or no, and it also includes questions involving demographics such as gender and race. So where do we start? Let's start by designing the market segmentation. What does this include? Well, first we need to select our target variable and single driver variables. We need to create two abstract concepts and find variables to describe them, and then pick descriptor variables that will help us describe our clusters after we create them. So first let's look at our target and single driver variables. Our target variables obviously going to be play/own the Nintendo Wii. Our single driver variables include enjoy spending time with my family, prefer to spend a quiet evening at home, need to be connected to the internet from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, and I enjoy entertaining people in my home. Next, we'll look at our abstract concepts, which are going to be cost consciousness and brand loyalty. We use variables such as careful with money, very good at managing money, don't like the idea of being in debt, and head right to the clearance rack when entering a store to describe cost consciousness. And we use variables such as prefer shopping specific stores that tend to carry the best brands, always look for favorite brands first, when I find a cell phone provider I like, I stick with them, and despite price, it's important to have brand I like to describe the concept of brand loyalty. Now we'll look at our descriptor variables. We can see a number of different type of descriptor variables, such as gender, whether or not the household is Hispanic, some competitors such as the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, some channels that maybe we could advertise to once we create our clusters, and some websites that the respondents had last purchased from within the last 3 months. So what's next? Now that we've selected all our variables, let's use PCA, or Principal Component Analysis, to summarize our abstract variables to create our two concepts, cost consciousness and brand loyalty. In order to see how well these variables describe these concepts, we'll take a look at the eigenvalues. We'll use Kaiser's rule to determine the number of factors created. Just for info, the Kaiser's rule is the number of factors is equal to the number of factors containing eigenvalues greater than 1. So let's see the results of our PCA. Ooh, bad news bears. We got 3 factors instead of 2. We can see 1.82, 1.55, and 1.02. And it's just barely over the 1 threshold, although it's still over, so we need to figure out how to get rid of it. Let's take a closer look at the variables and see if there's any discrepancies between the 2 factors. Taking a closer look at our variables, our first factor is colored in red, and our second factor colored in blue, cost consciousness, brand loyalty. We can notice some variables that may be causing some problems. We see that head straight to clearance rack is very ambiguous between the first and second factor, as well as when I find a cell phone provider I like, I stick with them. So let's remove these variables and see if our results improve. Boom, bada bing. Now we only got 2 factors. We're doing pretty good. It's a lot better. So let's check out our variables and see if they're looking better too. And we can see that there isn't any ambiguity between the two factors. They're very distinct. So that is good to have. Now we can start k-means clustering. Now that we've created our factors, let's start clustering. What does that involve? Clustering will partition our dataset into distinct subgroups or clusters based on the factors we just made. How do we determine the best amount of clusters to use? We'll pick the local maximum of the pseudo f and the CCC. We won't rely too much on r squared, as r squared will always increase as you increase the number of clusters. We'll mainly only use it for tiebreakers if we need to. Let's look at our results. So our results are indicating that we should probably use 4 clusters. As we can see, our local maximum is at 4. Let's take a closer look at the driver means. We want to check for ties between driver means. The lower amount of ties, the better the model. So we have 36 possible comparisons in here with only 4 ties, so 11.11% are ties, which is really good. You want to, or not really good, but good. You want to look for something under maybe like 20%. Are there any other ways to describe clusters? Yes, we can use gap analysis. Although it shares similarities with k-means clustering, such as comparing clusters to a reference solution, gap analysis is more about the within cluster dispersion of data points. So let's look at our gap analysis results. From here, we can see that it is also recommending that we use 4 clusters. So that's great. It verifies our results from before. So now that we know we're going to be using 4 clusters, we can take a closer look and attempt to describe them using our descriptor variables that we chose earlier. Let's see our results all together and then look at them one by one. Here's all our results. The darker green indicates a higher value based on the scale. Let's take a look at the first cluster means and try to describe it. This cluster has the largest Hispanic demographic. More people in this cluster have made a purchase on Amazon within the last 3 months. Contains the highest amount of people who watch Disney, Cartoon Network, and HBO. And this cluster really enjoys spending time with their family and a quiet evening at home. Our second cluster is our largest male demographic, although not by much. It's our smallest Hispanic demographic. People in this cluster tend to stay connected to the web from the moment they wake up until the moment they go to bed. And this cluster also really enjoys spending time with family, however, enjoys a quiet evening at home the least. Cluster 3 is almost an even distribution of the gender demographic. Less people in this cluster stay connected to the web from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep. And respondents in this cluster also enjoy spending time with their family and entertaining people in their home. This cluster is also the most brand loyal. And then for our final cluster, it is the largest female demographic by about 11%, is the second highest amount of respondents making purchases on Amazon within the last 3 months, and enjoy spending time with family as well. I think it's like the second highest, and also is the most cost conscious. So now that we have all these descriptions of our clusters, what are some marketing strategies that we could utilize? The first strategy we could utilize is family-oriented Hispanics, which uses our first cluster. We could showcase the family appeal of the Wii with local multiplayer games and possibly offer deals through Amazon, since more respondents in this cluster were making purchases on Amazon within the last 3 months. Our second strategy uses our second cluster. This is tech-savvy males. We could market the new interactive and innovative features of the Wii, such as motion controls or online gaming. And we could also display a balance of family time through web-connected gaming. And our third strategy utilizes our final cluster, our fourth one, and it is family-oriented / cost-conscious females. We could portray the Wii as a affordable, family-friendly game console, and we could create discounted bundles that come with additional Wii accessories or game, which Nintendo has done in the past, so it may be a trend that they would like to continue. Thank you for watching my presentation.